I just think that's who this town is that we help when we need to.
Now at 10, a fire in Middlebury has rendered a home a total loss. Thanks for joining us for the Fox 61 News at 10. I'm Brent Harden. Fox 61's Tim Latow reports the family has already received overwhelming support from town leaders and fellow neighbors.
As you can see, the Larandabeers' home is heavily charred and boarded up after that massive fire. When the town's first select woman got on scene, she knew the family would need far more help than just putting out the flames.
No one was home at the time. There were no injuries, but the family is going to have to rebuild from the beginning.
The blackened house on Carriage Drive is still standing, but not safe to live in after a fire left behind charred and melted debris. Middlebury First Selectwoman Jennifer Marr heard the call on her office radio. She didn't think twice to head to the scene.
Just the expression on Stephanie's face when she came around the corner and saw what was happening to her home, that just broke my heart.
It took 5 departments to put out the fire. Little could be saved. The family of 5 lost nearly everything. But Marr says a flood of support has come after the fire.
We're a very small, tight-knit community. Stephanie is the owner of a local bakery. She's been just kind of the heart of our community.
Marr is leading the charge herself. She's accepting clothing donations for the family, which includes a college-aged daughter and 2 sons in high school. They're also accepting gift cards, and money can be donated online.
I'm coordinating, delivering those things to the family, so if they bring them here to my office, 3rd floor at Town Hall, we'll make sure it gets to the right place.
Donations organizer might not be in the job description for First Selectwoman, but Marr says this fire has been the biggest loss in her town since she's been in office. There was only one thing to do.
It's what it means to be a small town, right? Somebody has a need, you step in, do what you can.
The family says they're not ready yet to do an interview, but they say that they're grateful for all the help from both first responders and community members. The next step for them is to find temporary housing in Middlebury or Southbury. In Middlebury, Tim Latow, Fox 61.
Thank you, Tim. Time for a look at the weather now. Mother's Day is just around the corner. Looks like Mother Nature may spare us with a clear day. Chief Meteorologist Rachel Frank joins us with the first look here. Rach?
Yeah, it looks like we'll get those drenching downpours out of the way in time for Mother's Day itself. So it's kind of a 50-50 weekend. First, tomorrow, there is a chance for an isolated shower. Most of the day will be dry. We're also looking at cooler than average temperatures, but not as chilly as Saturday will be. And Saturday is looking more and more like it could just be a washout with periods of rain, highs in the 50s. But it turns both brighter and drier as we head into Mother's Day. In fact, we actually get back to rain for Sunday night into Monday, so we squeeze in this little nice brighter window for Sunday, so well timed. Here's a look at a little bit of rain that's heading this way. Overnight tonight between 2 a.m. and 6 a.m. there could be a few passing showers with lows in the 40s. Otherwise, we'll see sunshine develop in the morning, clouds increase in the afternoon with a chance for a spotty shower or 2 later in the day, and high temperatures that'll get up around 60 degrees. And then it gets wetter right out the gate on Saturday. We'll talk more about the weekend rain and where we go from here coming up, Brent.
I know that trial was a joke and they would have convicted a bologna sandwich.
Those comments from the man convicted of throwing his 7-month-old son off a bridge came as he took the stand in the civil trial against DCF. And along with the child's father, his mother also testified, describing her fears leading up to the child's death back in 2015. Fox 61's Alicia Hercules shares the emotional testimony and the parents' claims against DCF.
Tony Moreno answered questions about his conversations with DCF. He also denied throwing his son off the Aragoni Bridge.
Well, you dropped him in the river.
Nope.
You didn't drop him in the river?
Nope.
Moreno has been in prison since 2017, serving a 70-year prison sentence after being convicted of murder and risk of injury to a child. On the stand, Moreno mentioned that he had a few phone calls with a DCF worker before the incident, but doesn't recall them asking about abuse allegations. The attorney questioned Moreno about a police report in which he told a witness he feared what would happen to his son, Aiden, if he took his own life.
The only way he knew that his son would be safe was to kill his son and then himself. Do you recall making those statements?
I know for a fact I never said that.
Aiden's mother, Adrienne Oyola, also took the stand.
Can I have a minute, please?
Yes.
She was overwhelmed with emotion when she saw a picture of herself holding her son. She testified that her relationship with Moreno was riddled with domestic violence and abuse. She said he would often threaten her life and threaten to take Aiden. She says she told a DCF worker about the abuse.
Every time she says that she is going to break up with him, he threatens to kill himself, so she stays in the relationship. Did you tell her that?
Yes.
Did you tell her that in a way that you were serious?
Yes. A temporary restraining order was approved on June 17th. Oyola said she expected a DCF worker to be present at the court hearing to extend the order. However, she says DCF never showed up. The restraining order was vacated on June 29th. On a call the next day with DCF, she said she was fearful now that the order was dropped.
You did not know what Mr. Moreno was capable of. You said that again. Why did you say that again?
To ring some alarms, to let them know, like, I think things are going to get a lot serious now that he has essentially access to Aiden.
She says the last time she saw Aiden was July 4th. He was killed the next day and his body was found 2 days after that.
He killed my son.
She went on to tell the court that one of the things she misses the most about her son is his unique laugh.
It was very loud, very squeaky. So I always love to get him to laugh.
Oyola says Aiden would be a great kid if he were still alive. She also said during her testimony that she didn't feel DCF did much to protect her or her son after the temporary restraining order was lifted. In Waterbury, Alicia Hercules, Fox 61.
President Donald Trump will deliver the keynote address at the 145th U.S. Coast Guard Academy commencement exercises later this month. The ceremony honors the newest generation of Coast Guard leaders. It'll take place on Wednesday, May 20th at 11 a.m. on Cadet Memorial Field. If it rains, the event will move to the Leamy Hall Auditorium. The event is closed to the public. A child from North Haven is recovering after being hit by a car while boarding the school bus this morning. North Haven Public School Superintendent told us the student goes to Clintonville Elementary School, about 5 minutes away from where the accident happened. A neighbor told us she saw the bus had its stop sign out and flashing lights on, but it still wasn't enough to stop the driver.
I've said, oh my God, I hope it's not a child that's been hit. There were 4 squad cars, there was a fire engine, there were 2 ambulances, then another small ambulance came, and more police.
North Haven police said the driver is an 89-year-old woman who stayed on the scene and cooperated with investigators. The driver was issued a ticket. The good news is police say the child is going to be okay. Well, I-95 was closed down temporarily today after a bus caught fire in Old Saybrook. Check out these photos. The Old Saybrook Fire Department said it happened just after 7 this morning between exits 67 and 68. They say, thankfully, all passengers got out of the bus safely before firefighters arrived. Officials did not say what caused the fire. The road was closed while crews worked to put out the fire, but it has since reopened. And police are investigating a deadly crash that happened early this morning on Route 101. This is what our crews saw earlier today. Police say Matthew Sherman drove off the road and hit multiple mailboxes, a street sign, and then crashed into a house on Hartford Pike in Killingly. As you can see, the front of the house is destroyed, and state police said the rest of the house has structural damage so severe that it's been deemed unsafe and is now fenced off.
It looks like the front of the house was sheared off, and there was quite a bit of smoke. So I thought somebody's furnace had exploded.
Now, neighbors tell us no one was hurt, or no one was home, I should say, during the crash, but Sherman died at the scene. Right now, we're waiting to hear what led up to the crash. State police is handling the investigation. And police are investigating after shots were fired into a home in Middletown. Police say they responded to a home on Inverness Lane around 1:30 a.m. after reports of gunshots there. Officers determined numerous rounds had been fired into the second floor of the home, but thankfully there were no injuries reported. Police say it appears to be an isolated incident. There is currently no threat to the public, and anyone with information about the shooting is asked to contact Middletown Police. Well, fire crews worked to contain a gas leak last night in Southington. It happened just before 11 p.m. at a propane supplier called AmeriGas on Birch Street. The Southington Fire Department said the leak was coming from one of the rail cars inside the facility, and there was actually a visible vapor cloud near the train car. They got the Plainville Fire Department and state environmental officials to help contain the leak and eliminate any additional hazards. Well, take a look here. A car crashed into a Norwalk apartment complex yesterday, and firefighters say a teen narrowly escaped getting hurt. This happened on North Taylor Avenue. Officials say the driver left the road, drove over a stone wall, and then crashed. They say the driver was hospitalized with a minor injury. The building department said one apartment is unsafe to live in, and now 4 people are displaced. Well, a cyber attack on the popular classroom platform Canvas may have exposed the personal data of millions of students and educators. Instructure, the company behind Canvas, says names, email addresses, student ID numbers, and private messages were accessed before the breach was contained. The hacking group Shiny Hunters claimed responsibility and threatened to release the data if demands are not met. Officials say there's no evidence passwords or financial information were exposed, but users are being urged to watch for suspicious email and account activity.